Hi, it's Mark again, our Museum of Us, the Chapter and Artists Museum. And the people that I've interviewed and then just looking at the research, more interviews I would say than research, I really was impressed with the fact that a lot of people have a hard time getting rid of art. And they shouldn't. There's no reason to get rid of it. Like I've made in other points, this is a piece that a friend from Juneau did, and I just fell in love with it when I saw it, bought it, and I hope to own it the rest of my life. But part of my point, though, is that my children may or may not appreciate it. So what do they do? What kind of burden do I put on them if I say, oh, there it is, I hope you like it? And I don't have a quick answer for it because I've talked to a lot of people who have a lot of art that they themselves acquire or art that they inherited and or were gifted. And art is very personal. So an artist museum, the stuff that you inherit, the stuff that was gifted to you, I really don't have a great suggestion per se, but I did put some resources at the end of the chapter. Check those out, especially for organizations who will take the artwork and auction it or find a way for you to find financial value of it from it, if that's your wish, or if you just want to donate it, there's that opportunity as well. What I want to talk about, though, is what happens when you create art and what I call you create this thought child or thought children. What I mean specifically is that if you're an artist or a photographer and you create your own work, it's hard to express the attachment you have to it. So Exhibit A, and what I wanted to show you was the photo that I took up in Denali National Park in Alaska that I described. This is the one that was selected for a show and traveled around the state in a museum, well, different museums at in the state. But this is that little wet fox that I took. But here's the story that I want to tell you about it really quickly. I would be in that art exhibit watching all of the beautiful photographs, watching the people come through, and I'll never forget the children, two children that came up and got so tickled by seeing the fox tongue on its nose as it was licking its nose. And it just delighted me as a photographer to see children getting so much delight from one of my photographs. So my thought child, it was actually just a lucky photograph, but in the end, it was really a treat to get to see those kids see it in a public place. Then there's the other side of that. What about when you have children yourself? This is our son and daughter. When they were children, exploring some gravel up in Alaska where they were born and raised. And so there's this picture, and that's one that I keep near and dear just because I'm so, well, you know what I'm trying to say. It's like when you have pictures of your children, it's just like everything to you. So as an artist, a photography, a photograph, what do you do with that? Well, luckily, photos are fairly easy to digitize, and so I can put it on that hard drive, the cloud, the thing for them, and they may not inherit this, but they'll get the digital version of it, just like with my Fox picture. But then the best thing of all, especially if you're a parent, it's I might buy art, I might inherit art, I might be gifted art, I might make my own art, like my photography, my things about my children and my family, like I showed you the one about the picture of Papa holding the rifle next to his dog is really special to me. But then here's a whole nother level that I'm honestly kind of processing myself. What do you do when your children make art and it's now not something that you created, but something that your child created? This is a painting that my daughter did recently. I went over to visit her in India, and I was so fascinated by this one fellow that was behind the hostel where I was staying, who was taking care of these 7 cows in a Hindu culture. And I spent so much time just watching him taking care of the cows all day that I told her that story. And for Father's Day this year, she made me this gorgeous, gorgeous painting. Question: what do I do with the painting? And so this to me is the real dilemma I tried to express in the Artist Museum. Art as a visual or as a three-dimensional piece, any kind of art, we have a certain appreciation for, a certain attachment to, And so it's really, really tough to get rid of, really tough to process, just like we talked about with music and books. So I don't know that I've got a solution for this one other than to acknowledge that we have to do something. Otherwise, we hand over or give away or inherit to our children or friends big items that are maybe something they don't appreciate. So I would suggest do a digital story about the art, about the photo, like I did in the chapter about the fox. Do a digital story about what you liked about what your children have made for you, and tell them what you liked about the image, digitize it, and then whether or not you keep or they keep the item, I hope she does, it's stunning, then at least you're going in the direction of creating an Our Museum of Us. This is all me, 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 but once you digitize it, share what it means to you, share the values that you see in it, what the art expresses to you, then at least you're moving in the direction of an Our Museum of Us. And I think that's my suggestion for the best way to curate an artist's museum.